layers of Egyptian pastry sheets, dipped in broth and milk with minced beef in the middle, baked in the oven, crispy from outside, tender and softer from inside. This is the Egyptian رقاق. ويا مليون أهلا وسهلا. I start by preparing the beef. I add here a drizzle of oil and then I add some minced onion. I wait till the onion gets softer and kinda yellow, and then I add the beef. Here, this is minced beef. I try to break it down with the spatula, and I wait till it gets a gray color, and then I add the spices. Simple spices, just the black pepper and some mixed spices. You will find them in the ingredients, and salt. Then I mix everything together. And here, this step is optional. I add 1 tablespoon of tomato paste or tomato sauce, whatever, to give it a nice color. And then when it doesn't have any liquids, so it's ready. Now I have my beef. I use this for رقاق, bechamel dishes or recipes with beef. This is the Egyptian رقاق. As you see here, it's a kind of pastry sheets and it's dry. We need to make it moist. That's why we use broth and milk. I have here 2 cups of beef broth. You can use any type of broth like chicken broth or whatever, or even vegetable broth. And then I add the milk. You can add heavy cream, but actually milk gives it a nice taste. And then with the ghee. Here I grease my tray with ghee because this will give it a nice color and a nice texture. So I add a generous amount and then I layer up the layers. Here I take each sheet and try to make it moist by the broth and milk, and then I add it in the tray like this. It's okay if it breaks a little bit, never mind. At the end it will be like one pie. And then here is a very important step. Between each layer I add a generous amount of ghee. This is very important for the layering process because if I don't add ghee, it will be like a one piece at the end. I don't want this. I want it to be fluffy and I feel the layers, I see the layers. So ghee actually helps with this. I add 3 layers at the bottom, then the beef, and then other 3 layers. This is the perfect amount of layers because if you add less layers, maybe 2 or 1, actually it will be so thin and you won't feel the taste. And if you add more layers, it will be so thick and it won't be good. So 3 layers, then the beef, then the other 3 layers. And as you see here, I add the beef in the middle. And I try to make this layer even and nice because when I cut the pieces at the end, I want each piece to have a good layer of beef in the middle. So I try to make it even, as you see here. The Egyptian رقاق is a part of the Egyptian culture for generations. It's very popular in family gatherings and special occasions. Actually, there is in Egypt a special occasion. It's a religious occasion when all Egyptians actually celebrate this occasion by preparing this dish. Different people from different cities, we all cook this dish in this occasion. We invite our families and our neighbors. We celebrate with our beloved ones. After adding the beef, I add the last 3 layers of رقاق. Same process. Layer and then ghee, other layer and then ghee, and till I finish. This is the top of the tray, so I add here also ghee. This is very important because this what will give it a nice color in the oven. As you see here, it's ready. I put it in the oven for 20 minutes at the highest degree, and the last 5 minutes I use the grill to give it the nice color on top. And voila, this is the Egyptian رقاق. Subscribe to see more Egyptian recipes وبالهنا والشفا.